Welcome to Monmouth. Perched on the border between England and Wales, it is one of the most historic towns in the country. Queen first recorded Bohemian Rhapsody here, and one half of Rolls-Royce is buried here. More recently, some secretive archaeology work has been started in the town, and a whole new era of its history may soon be revealed. Archaeologists here in Monmouth believe they've found clues that could tell us what Monmouth was like in the Bronze Age. This building site on the edge of the town will soon be turned into over 100 houses. But underneath all that mud, an archaeological team has found the remains of Bronze Age boats. Even more importantly, they think the boats were actually made right here in Monmouth. If this is true, this is the first find of its kind in this country. So I'm off to meet the head of the team, Steve Clark, where I'm hoping I can help him put the pieces together. Steve has been finding Roman and Bronze Age treasures in Monmouth for decades. So needless to say, if Steve's getting himself excited about a find, it's probably going to be something pretty important. These are drawings that date back a long, long way regarding the same sort of boats that we think we found in Monmouth. So what
that's right. Well, these are Bronze Age rock carvings in Scandinavia, which show large boats with big crew and outriggers, stabilisers, which are out on the side of the boat. That would make it the sort of thing you could take out into the ocean. And we believe that this is what they were making, because Monmouth, of course, here, the big lake, you've got access to the sea directly from this site that we're working on. So this may be the thing that everyone has been looking for, where these sort of boats were actually made.
How is this going to change perceptions of what we think of Monmouth?
Well, if we're correct and what we think we've got Bronze Age boat building, then it is unique. There's never been any, although they've been predicted, the sort of vessels that we think they may have been making here, ocean-going, to go out to sea. These have been forecast by archaeologists over the many years, but no one's ever found them. And certainly no one's ever found anywhere they were made. So if this is right, then it's of international importance. There's no doubt about that.
Brilliant. You look very excited.
Well, I'm very excited, and I hope it does come out. It's come a bit late, this lot. I've only been digging 55 years, something like that. Oh, no, it's more.
This is fantastic news. Steve's find could prove something about Bronze Age Britain that only ever existed in archaeological theory. But whilst this is an incredible bit of news, we still don't know what these vessels would have looked like. Well, because these boats only ever existed in theory, no one has ever actually tried to build them. However, there is something pretty similar being replicated in the UK right now. So, I'm heading 200 miles east to Falmouth to talk to Brian Cumby from the National Maritime Museum in Cornwall, in the hope that he might be able to show us something a little bit more lifelike. Brian is managing a project aimed at recreating a 16-metre Bronze Age boat using only the tools and technology that was available over 4,000 years ago. I'm hoping this boat will help paint a better picture of Bronze Age Britain and the massive vessels that Bronze Age man was building. So here we are in this incredible boat. What I wanted to ask you first of all is, we know these boats were seagoing vessels, but what were they used for?
Well, I think we're pretty convinced that because of their size, she would have been used to carry cargoes.
Okay.
And in respect to Cornwall especially, Cornwall had vast amounts of tin. And I think they would have used these boats to transport tin to trade with other areas, possibly even what is now the continent.
Wow.
Maybe they trade Cornish tin for copper, bring it back to these islands, and then they could make their bronze.
Wow. Well, that's quite interesting. I mean, the situation we've got in Monmouth at the moment is that it's believed to have once been a giant lake.
Yeah.
So how do you think the boats would have got from, where they were made down to the sea?
Yeah, they had to be built quite close to a water source.
Okay.
Because, this boat, we estimate she'll be about 5.5 ton.
Okay.
And to move a boat like this across land, I think would have been too difficult.
Pretty much impossible.
So they would have built them near to riverbanks or near to estuaries.
Okay. So the watercourse could have been completely different back then, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, even just dating back to the 18th century, I mean, there were massive boats still going out of Monmouth down to the sea then, so it's completely possible that back in the Bronze Age this could have been happening.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And once they get it in water, they can travel around down to the coast, down to various other bays, other inlets.
Okay. I mean, what would boat building in a town like Monmouth, if it was happening in Monmouth, what sort of effect would that have had on the economy at the time?
Well, I think that would give people the ability to trade. And once you're able to trade, then you become quite powerful. You can exchange goods.
Absolutely.
And, and I think that was one of the major driving forces behind building vessels like this.
Brian has confirmed what archaeologist Steve suggested. If it was possible for Bronze Age vessels to get from Monmouth to the sea, then the evidence in favour of boat building is mounting up. Back in Monmouth, more work has been completed on the dig site. Site planner Peter Beer has been finalising reconstructive drawings, and we're going to see him to find out exactly what he thinks.
They found certain anomalies in the ground which indicate that there could have been a huge building or possibly jetties or irrigation, but eventually we worked out that it probably was a sort of the building of an ancient boat. This is what we believe to be the construction of the vessel, given the facts that we were presented with. Given the research that we've done into different ancient vessels, we found that this could be the only possible explanation from the facts that we've found. And I've reconstructed, as the reconstruction artist, I've reconstructed the scene as it possibly would have been 1.8 million years ago. When the glaciers started to retreat, the waters would have formed a huge lake.
Massive lake.
It is.
That's all of Monmouth, isn't it?
That's Monmouth,
covered.
yes. It's completely underwater, yes.
So whereabouts on here was the find? This is Rockfield, so it would have
Rockfield,
been
it's
up there.
just about there.
Okay.
Yes.
So in this drawing, it would have still been underwater. In this, it would have been underwater.
Now, yes.
So
yes.
I'm guessing that the lake got a bit smaller.
Yes. Okay. So I can show you images where the. Now
there we are.
That is it. That is now where we are, where we are at the moment with the dig, and that would have been the site of the lake at the time the settlers actually made this vessel.
Peter has given us the final piece to the archaeological puzzle. His reconstructions of the lake indicate that the site is located in the perfect position for Bronze Age boat building. Meanwhile, housing work on the site in Monmouth will soon destroy the evidence, and Steve is turning his attention to the future of the site. So much has happened over the past few weeks, so much has been discovered. We don't have any conclusive evidence yet of, whether this is going to be exactly what we think it is, but what does the future hold for this site?
Well, the future is nothing there. It's going to be destroyed. Well, it is being destroyed, but there are sites next door. The big fields, the lake continues around the rest of the town. What we have to do is protect that now. So we're writing this up. We're going to produce decent reports on it, academic reports, and it's up to us to do our best to preserve those for future generations. If we don't, we're neglecting everything. We'll be a complete failure if we don't protect them and save them for the future, when hopefully techniques and more money will be about, so that it'll be done properly and better than we can do it today. Certainly better than allowing it to be destroyed by the builders.
Archaeologically, what Steve's found here in Monmouth is of massive importance. This find could reshape the way we look at Bronze Age man, allowing us to see more clearly into the ways he was able to trade and the incredible vessels he was able to build. Hopefully next time I catch up with Steve, both he and Monmouth will be written into the history books.